Sicario, desert music. Kali, LP6. So, we're here with the JBL 306Ps, which I got on like a doorbuster sale at B&H, and now on Amazon they're basically the same price, $176 each. Which begs the question, well, what about the Kalis, Zeus? You said the Kalis, and I do say the Kalis, and here's the thing. These, every fucking day in my living room. The Kalis, the competition, the ones that were built because the engineers left JBL and told them to go fuck themselves. We could do it better and stronger and faster, built to hurt. And they can in a living room. But we're not reviewing these in the living room, are we? See, I had the 306Ps in the living room and I was like, you know what? The Kalis are going to take it here. They have a bass boost up and these don't. They have more room correction options and these don't. But then you sit down on a desk with them like arm's length in front of you. And mine, yes, are upside down, but they're on these sound rise stands, which puts them at like this perfect height. Links to those I should have released a review for those before these. But and you turn upside down and then you get this perfect forward thing. And you can't beat that tweeter in that waveguide. You just can't do it. And it doesn't sound like they've dampened this much. Oh, why are you so... Here's the thing. They're not as ugly as the 305Ps. They're still fucking ugly. I don't even bother cleaning them because I want you to see the fingerprints and the hairs stuck to the shiny plastic. I want you to see that stuff. Because it's like a bad decision, JBL, and you should feel bad. But then you turn up desert music. Oh, shout out to the Emotiva Control Freak. You can't buy this anymore. There's alternatives. I'll find one of the alternatives. It's just a volume knob with XLRs in the end. These are running off of my extra Geshelli Labs Enog 2 Pro DAC, set to medium gain. And then these are 5 clicks down on the back each, and then I have this. So I now have, it allows me to have full, turn it all the way up. That's as loud as it should ever play on my desk, and then turn it all the way down. So it's a wonderfully compact system. Fiber optic feeding that, XLR to this to the speakers, wonderful. So, the long story short, Kali's in a living room. Kali's if you decide to buy a mini DSP HD, and use it with its infrared receiver on any remote control you want in a living room, and you plug fiber optic into it from your television, and you're like, okay, and then you have a Bluetooth receiver here, fiber optic from your television here, home theater PC with USB, you send out to your 2 Kali monitors with this, and then you have 2 extra outputs for a subwoofer or subwoofers, and then you can control which profile, subwoofers off, do room corrections, you can get Dirac Live on one of these. I love how every review I'm going to do in the future is going to literally be a fucking mini DSP review. A re-review every time because it needs to be shown to you. Look at it. Read the name. Where is she? But, and that would also work here on the desk, by the way, to control that. If you wanted to control it with a remote. That's more of like a living room thing. Here, physical knobs are bay. These sound better up close. This is obvious. This is just straight up, like as soon as you turn on music from here, and you're like, well, Zeals, aren't those big? But that's the thing. That's the way it works. The Stealth 8s, the Emotiva Stealth 8s, just sounded tremendously better up close than they did far away. And for some reason, those JBL Studio 590 towers with dual 8s and that massive fucking... The waveguide for that tweeter is literally bigger than this entire JBL. That JBL is bigger than this entire JBL just in the tweeter. Those sound better up close. It's a weird thing. You never can tell what's going to sound great on a desk or great in a room, but great in both is rare. It has happened, but these are this. These are here, then go. Zed Leplin. Yeah, okay. We should probably look at the back of one. So let's which one's going to destroy itself the least? I think this one will be aight. I'll just flip it around. Here we go. See that? I'm like a ninja, but not the one that makes millions of dollars playing video games. Balanced input and 1/4" input, which you can get adapters. I will link the adapters to make that an RCA input, or you can get RCA to 1/4" wires if you want to do that. There's a switch here that if you're using RCA or the 1/4", you want that on +4. And since I'm using XLR, I want it on -10, so I left it alone. It is a pain to get to. That is really fucking recessed. Like, you have to have the right small screwdriver or a paper clip, and you gotta like fish in there. I don't know why they hide it so much. Here's your little description. Here you got boundary EQ, -3, -1.5, and 0. That's basically low end. They're calling it boundary EQ, but it's the low end adjustment. If you're putting these in a wall, against the wall, you're putting them, like my desk is at least 4 feet from that corner. If my desk was against the wall and this speaker was against the wall, you may have to adjust the low end to make it less, because that wall will simply act like a giant waveguide and amplify the low end. So that's what that does. I want to point out the back of this. Oh, Jesus, heavy. It just needs thicker wrists. This has bass boost, so low frequency trim down or up. So that's what this does better. That's why this, I think, in a living room is a superior speaker, because it performs just better. I could not get these to sound right in said living room. Oh, back to the floor, baby. By the way, both of these ending up in a yard sale, because if you don't know what the yard sales are, I'll tell you this in the middle. You join my Patreon for $5 a month, and come the 1st to the 10th, I say, offer me money for these, and then I pay for shipping in America or half the shipping for the international. Just pimping myself a little bit. You also got high frequency trim, which is normal, down or +2 decibels. Here's your volume knob. It is a clicky volume knob, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's important because if you're setting them blindly to level, and unlike Atom monitors, I'm looking at you fucking T5Vs, which are still... I'll have to bring that up, because I think those on a desk, I don't... Let's just put it this way. I'm selling these in a yard sale, and I'm keeping those T5Vs up on my wall. But those are more fun, and these are more work and kind of fun, but they're also bulky, and I don't like the fucking finish. Fuck you, shiny fucking plastic fuck. I'm sorry, did I curse? Sorry, YouTube, please don't demonetize me. Power switch. Just like all the other JBL monitors, does not get hot. Oh, I was cursing about Atom because when you set the volume either to max or to -4 clicks, there's perfect volume leveling between the two speakers. The Atom monitors, when I used to set it, and it wasn't a clicky one, it was like an Amy one, like you had to actually like turn it, and there was a line, and did it line up. It was always a discrepancy. You put them both to max on the Atoms, one was louder than the other. It's just the way it was. And I was like, is it my source? Is my music is fucked up? I don't know. So JBLs are perfect. Back to music. Flowbots. That's Flowbots. The Rhythm Method. Giggity. These do... What the Atoms do depth. They do this way. JBLs do this. They just hit you with this wall. Now it's including the 5s. So these are the 6s now. So that wall that hits you is just a little bit bigger. And you're paying for that by, like, look at the size of them. These are not normal. And if I didn't have these SoundRise stands, I'd feel claustrophobic right now. They do a wonderful job of allowing me to, like, actually still have a desktop and 9 inches of space. If I had just foam blocks crammed in here, I'd feel like I was going to die. So it's like a re-review of those. There is a hiss. People complain, and it doesn't bother me, probably because I have to listen to shit all day. But if you get real close and I get quiet, there's just the gentlest of... And if that bothers you, you have 2 options. Buy Adams, which don't hiss, or get yourself something like this. I have a kilowatt edge here. I think that's still available. And that's basically to tell you the wattage of what something's drawing, but there's a power switch on the top. Because you don't shut off powered monitors at night. Normal people don't do that. You're not going to climb behind each one and find the fucking button and then click it off. But you could plug those both into a power strip. That power strip will be plugged into a kilowatt edge, or just a power strip up on your desk and you go off. As long as you're not playing music, if they're off, and there's no hissing coming. And they turn on pretty fucking instantly. So, I mean, you're gonna get hiss. A lot of amplifiers will put out a hiss. Except for you, babies. I know you're great. So, did they cure the hiss? No. It's just something. It's something that JBLs have always done, and some people are way more sensitive to it than others. I've had them sitting here on my review desk for 7 days, just 7 days up in these stands, and they're not running all the time. I'm here, I listen to them, or I lower this down, boom, now I do headphone reviews, sound demos, and that hiss doesn't bother me. I sit here, in this chair, right there, and I could just, on the quietest moments, when the sound of my computer's fan's running and there's no cars going by, I can just, from the back of my head, pick up the hiss sound. But it's not a deal breaker. It's never been a deal breaker for me. It will hiss because it's on. It's a powered monitor with an exposed amplifier going, signal, I'm waiting. So there are ways to quell it. Literally shut it off when you're not using it. No amount of muting it. I could unplug all the wires except for power, it'll still hiss. They kick just enough low end. So you can't boost the low end unless you had, like, I don't know, mini DSP. But you can't boost the low end. Or Loki. My God, the shit Loki. You can't boost the low end on them with the back panels. But you don't need to. In this scenario where I am sitting and they are being used as if it was a actual studio monitor and I was doing professional work, and I'm like, Berserk Arc 1. Stroking my beard. It's a quality mix. It's now that I've listened to Genelex, by the way, everything's all fucked up. Because nothing's good enough to mix music on except for Genelex. But I don't think everyone has a $6,000 budget. So these are a damn good close second. Now I said the Atom 7-inch was also what I would choose to mix on. Where I said the 5s are fun, and I kept the 5s. And I yard saled the 7s. I don't think the same thing is true for the JBL lineup. I'm pretty sure the 5s and the 6s here both have almost identical matching things. You can mix on the 5s, but I'd still rather mix on the 6s. But you could sort of mix on the 5s, but they're a little more fun. Oh, get off there. If you could fit them, get these instead of the 5s. If you could fit them. If you could fit them and you're on a desk. If the 7s, I'm going to link. Here's the thing. In the description of this video will be a link to these for, I think they're $176 a piece. And there'll be a link to the fucking T7Vs. And then it's up to you to decide. Because really, you're either dealing with depth or width. Because the only speaker that does both is $6,000. I can't stand the fingerprint. Oh my God, the fingerprints. Oh, the dust touches it, and then the fingerprints, and it's like, oh, remember that piece of cheese you touched 3 days ago? Yeah, there it is now. I'm Italian. I touch cheese constantly. Oh my god, that's so fine. Like, here's the thing. The atoms, when I talked about the atoms, I talked about that tweeter being the little AMT tweeter, and it's like, oh my god, it's so sharp and fine. So's that. The actual efforts that JBL puts into getting their tweeters right. I can't play too much, it's gonna get yanked off of the tubes. Come on, give me something to write on. And it has to be at this height. I tried them down on foam blocks. It don't work. You got to get them up. You got to get them up, and you got to get them right here, and you got to get the angles proper. Spend at least as much time slightly moving your speakers as you do listening to music the first day. If you're going to listen to 2 hours of music, just keep moving the speakers. Further out, further in, tilt. Do I have to put something under here to tilt it up? Tilt it down? Is the stand too high? I asked them if they make a lower stand. These are probably one of the best buys in audio. For such a big speaker. Granted, still better buy for a living room is the Callies, but again, if you're going living room with a powered monitor, you have to have either an SU8 like DAC amp with a remote. You need a remote control. That's all it comes down to is you can't use powered monitors like this in a living room without a remote control. It's actually a lot easier because you just run power to it and signal to it, and you can have them wherever you want, and you have a little controller. And either the controller is this, and you teach it a remote control, or the controller is an SU8, and you have a remote control, but it's usually a shitty one. Yeah, these do so many more DSP corrections, you know, with dip switches than this. This is just basically like, yeah, you want the treble down or up? Or you want the bass down? Okay, we're done here. And this is like, where's your boundary? You on a desk from less than half a meter or for more than a meter? How about a wall? How about on a stand? How about up on a ceiling? You could adjust all this shit. Oh, I'm gonna have a really big left arm. So just keep lifting that thing up. These 306Ps, as much as, look, I don't hate JBL, that's fucking obvious. I hate the shiny plastic. That's sort of like, that's a 20 points off for fucking JBL Indoor. That was a Gryffindor joke, but I really didn't come out well. The JBL Indoors, 20 points off for fucking shiny black plastic. Whatever happened to Matt? It's practically a face reveal in that shit. It's a... These look better than the 305Ps. They cover less area, I think. Or do they not? I don't remember. I know there's an 8-inch version also for $250 a piece. Not sure if I'm going to review those. Those seem a little excessive for my desk. But I guarantee you this, it would be linear. Linearly, it would go up and be a little bit better than these. Just a little more low end. Just a little more space. That whole space thing, I'm sure the 8-inch would fucking rock your eyeballs out of your head. You're lucky you did well on a desk. Because here's the thing, when I did them in the living room, I knew the Callies were better. Callies are better speakers in a living room. But you get close, you get right here, and that's when you realize, oh shit, these are still JBLs. These are still the benchmark. Enough 9-inch nails. God, you angsty bastard. Epic score. You could just feel. That's Dark Day by Chromatics. And someone's leaf blowing in a snowstorm. And I think that means it's time to end this review. So like I said, these will be in a yard sale. The Callies will be in the yard sale. The Callies stuck around simply because I wanted to compare them directly to the JBLs, and I got to do that. Both 6-inch, both really fucking affordable. Don't need an amp, just need a source. In this case, I'm just using a raw DAC and a volume pot, and I'm good to go. It's dirty up top. That's orange mint. Links to these in the description. Links to the Callies in the description. Links to the T7s, T5s, 306Ps. This is like the fucking grandest list in the description of all the powered monitors I reviewed up till now. I have to get that list done in our Zeos, and I have to start working on hi-fi guides again. Hi-FiGuides.com, by the way, is run by me and DMS3TV, and we are trying to make it like the fundamental. It's trying to be like PC Part Picker, but for just audio stuff, because they have an audio section in PC Part Picker, and it's shit. So we're trying to just take over that segment. And if I did powered monitors, these would be on it. These would be like, oh, desk here. Oh, living room there. T5Vs, desk, yes. What do you want? Spies? Links everywhere. Wallpaper. Is she best girl? She's good. Pretty good. She's pretty good. Links to her in the description. Links to the Patreon where you could sign up, get any yard sales, see these reviews early. If the price is not $176 a speaker, that's because my patrons watched it, and they bought 37 pairs of them, and all of a sudden Amazon's algorithm went, raise the price. So that's called the Zeos effect. It is a real thing, and the Patreon gets you ahead of that curve. Although if my Patreon gets big enough, it might kick in while people are still buying it. So get to see these reviews early, get in the yard sale, ask me questions. I try to get to them as soon as possible. It could take up to a week if you're actually typing me questions and you're in a $5 tier. $10 patrons get into a private Telegram chat where they get to just say @ZeosPantera, and I answer their questions three times a day. I show up and I answer anyone's questions with my voice. So that's a fun little adventure that I'm going on. And yeah, I think we're good here. Bravo, JBL. You've maintained your, I would say superiority, but I'm still linking atoms in the description. Oh, and I can't forget the Mackeys, by the way. I feel like the Mackeys don't get enough play, and I should really yank them down off the corner, because there's still one thing. Before I end. If this is the volume you're going to play your music, like whisper quiet music, like this is like, get the Mackeys. Link into the Mackeys. Future Zeos. Link to the Mackeys. The Mackeys 624s, still the best quiet speakers I've heard. And now we're done. Moving on. See you tomorrow.